Hey everybody, you're listening to Second Round Steals as we go through our 2015-2016 NBA team previews. Be sure to check out the rest of our previews, and don't forget to stay tuned with us for regular updates throughout the season. Hey everybody, so here we are again. We're going to start talking about the Brooklyn Nets. So Charles, give me your take.
All right. So last year they were 38-44. They all kind of had an up and down year, but that's typical of the Nets ever since they moved to Brooklyn. They lost in the first round to the Atlanta Hawks, but they played pretty well. I watched all of their playoff games, but
Yeah, they put up a fight. I remember that.
and they nearly won a couple of games. It's just the whole Darren Williams thing. Like, he just quit on the team.
Yeah, that was the whole poster thing they had out, like looking for his game, like a wanted poster.
There was just one game where he missed the last shot that could have won it for them, and he just made this. It's almost like an emoji face, where he's kind of winking and it's kind of a smile because he missed, and that just encapsulates the whole Darren Williams era.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. For the key additions, this team really, they went under a lot of change. So they added Andrea Bargnani, Wayne Ellington, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Shane Larkin, Thomas Robinson, Willie Reed, and Donald Sloan. All of those are either veterans minimum deals or, in the case of Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, a rookie. They also drafted Chris McCollum. He'll probably sit out the year because of ACL tear.
And Ryan Boatwright, they signed up, right?
Yeah, he's going to be in training camp, but I think Donald Sloan will probably get the last roster spot over Boatwright.
Guess they'll send him to the D-League, probably.
Yeah, probably.
All right. And then their losses, they lost the Battery, right? AA, Alan Anderson. Mirza Teletovic, the fan favorite.
MT3.
Mason Plumlee, who's actually doing pretty well at the start of last season.
Yeah, Plumdog millionaire. But I think with Plumlee, ever since Kevin Garnett got traded, at the trade deadline, his game just plummeted.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, there was definitely a whole resurgence of Brook Lopez again, and people talked about that, but really, the reason Lopez got back in there was because Plumlee just started missing whatever it was he had at the start.
Yeah, he was even unplayable because of his lack of free throws.
Yeah, and obviously they lost Deron Williams.
Do you mean Darren?
Did I say Deron? I don't know. I've always said Deron. I never knew.
Darren.
It's always... really? I'm just not good at pronouncing basketball player names.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that was probably the biggest off-season move for the Nets.
Yeah, definitely.
It's weird saying that how losing a player that was a former All-Star could be a positive move, but a lot of people on the Nets are saying his attitude brought a lot of drama to the team, and the team's a lot happier now.
I think it was a lot of him thinking he knew best. Nobody really wants to hear that. I remember back in times when Avery Johnson was coaching the team, there was a lot of talk about how Darren Williams would just call him out. And during, when they were writing up a play on the wall, he would call him out in front of the whole team and say he could do it better. And while he was a good point guard, he is still probably a good point guard. It's just, you can't, I don't know, there's an attitude issue there.
Yeah. He was supposed to make over $20 million this year. I think it wasn't just the attitude, it was more of the Nets getting under the luxury tax too.
Definitely. Well, yeah, but they're trying to get on the luxury tax. If he was playing at his super level that he was playing 2 years ago, then they wouldn't mind being in the luxury tax for him. But because he just kind of disappeared, why bother paying him?
Right.
So, their lineup. This is really kind of shocking. You got Jarrett Jack back in a starting lineup.
There's a lot of alliteration on the Nets. There's Jarrett Jack and a bunch of other guys that have the same...
Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson.
Yeah.
They lost Alan Anderson.
This one becomes tough. I know there's a lot of talk. They want to start... another alliterative guy, Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah, Bogdanovic, yeah.
They want to start him and then put at the shooting guard and then put Johnson at the small forward. I take exception to that. I'm thinking they should start Hollis Jefferson
Over
Bogdanovic. Yeah, I think.
I see that.
Put Johnson back at the shooting guard spot and start Hollis Jefferson at the 3.
Yeah, you can flop both of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Power forward, they have Thad Young, obviously. They just spent a lot of money on him, and Brook Lopez covering the center spot. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm back on this. I think Hollis Jefferson should really start because this lineup has so much offense and not much defense in it. Hollins preaches D, and Hollis Jefferson plays D, so why wouldn't he want to start him?
Exactly. I think it's just because he's a rookie. Last year, towards the end of the season, they started Markel Brown at the shooting guard with Johnson at the 3, and then Young and Lopez.
Right.
So you might see Markel Brown, but Rondae Hollis Jefferson, he might work his way into the lineup eventually. Both Bojan Bogdanovic and Joe Johnson aren't great defenders by any stretch. So, yeah, you will probably need to balance the offense and the defense with the Nets.
Well, especially because you have such great shot creators in Joe Johnson, Brook Lopez, and even Thad Young.
Right.
I don't think you need more offense in that lineup, that starting lineup. I think you should save some of it for the second unit.
Right.
I think you put Hollis Jefferson in there so he can take on the primary matchups and shut down some small forwards.
Yeah.
Also, another thing with this team, point guard should be wide open for anyone to emerge in. Yeah. Honestly, Jack is too ball dominant to be starting because you need the rock in Joe Johnson's hands and Brook Lopez's. Brook Lopez more so because he's the one man leading that team now. So Jack has never been much of a distributor. He's always just been a mid-range shooter. Dribble, pull up, and shoot.
Dribble, pull up.
Yeah.
So it kind of transitions into the stat I was going to give. It was 315. So when Jarrett Jack was on the court last year, the Nets were outscored by 315 points, which is a lot.
Atrocious.
It was atrocious compared to Jaren Williams, who wasn't that bad, and compared to any average starting point guard.
Exactly.
The Nets might have the worst point guard situation in the league right now, which is kind of weird because the point guard spot is the deepest position in the league. And with, like you were mentioning, with Joe Johnson, Thad Young, and Brook Lopez and Young thrive on pick and roll basketball. They don't thrive on a Jarrett Jack just dribbling the ball until it gets deflated.
And then hoping that they can get a rebound when he eventually clangs the mid-range jumper.
Yeah. He's being praised for his leadership, but his leadership might not be enough.
I think his leadership should be used to teach a younger point guard how to really distribute the ball or something. Shane Larkin I see on the roster, he's not a great starting point guard by any means, but he tries, he hustles, he defends, and he passes the ball. He doesn't take his own
He's more
shot.
athletic as well.
Exactly.
He probably run the pick and roll a lot better than Jarrett Jack.
I think they have a lot better options to try and start at the point guard. I think Jarrett Jack deserves a spot, definitely, maybe as a six man. I don't think he should be starting with this team, with this lineup especially.
Exactly.
My stat was kind of similar. I have the stat as assists per game for the exact reason we were just talking about.
So Jarrett Jack's assists per game?
Well, no, just the entire team's assists per game because they don't really have a passer on this roster.
Right.
They don't have anyone who's really distributing the ball, and that's going to really hurt them. Because, like you said, Young and Lopez thrive on pick and rolls. That you need somebody to pass to them. They can set up their own shots, but they're less efficient that way. And Johnson used to be a decent passer, especially for the 2 spot, but he's getting up there in age, and he's become a lot more reliant on the ISO.
Yeah.
He was always, mocked like ISO Joe, but he's gotten even more reliant on it since leaving Atlanta, I feel.
Yeah. He lost a little bit of his first step, and I think in Atlanta, he was a pretty good distributor because he was able to post up and then pass it, kick it back out.
Yeah.
But I think he's a little bit older now, and he doesn't really want to bang on the inside, so he's relegated to more ISOs and more spot ups.
Right. Big picture, what do you see for this team?
I mean, this team is almost an NBA nowhere land. Last year they made the playoffs barely.
Yeah.
Now they lost their starting point guard for nothing, and they also don't have their draft picks. They have some young pieces in Hollis Jefferson, Bogdanovic, Brown, and Chris McCullough, but there isn't really anything really exciting about this team. Brook Lopez, I think he's one of the top 5 centers in the game, but aside from that, the rest of this team is and so they'll be struggling for playoff spot, and they definitely need it because they don't want to give that draft pick to Boston this year.
Definitely. Yeah, I have a bunch of similar stuff. They're not making the playoffs. Even in a weak East, they are very much the weak part of this conference. They lost a lot of depth at the point guard, same as you said, because they lost Deron Williams. Even the shell of what was Deron Williams, he still was better than what they have right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're still talented at a lot of positions, but they're fighting a really big uphill battle, especially due to age and everything. And if Lopez gets injured again, as we've seen the past couple of years, he always gets one key injury, they're sunk. There's not much they can really do.
Yeah. Andrea Bargnani as your starting center isn't really looking too good.
I mean, he essentially replaces Teletovic, except he's not nearly as good at shooting threes as Teletovic.
He's a lot more injured than Mirza.
Yeah. I don't know. They really could have used something. I don't think replacing Mason Plumlee with Thomas Robinson was the greatest move either, but you had to get that draft pick.
I have some faith in Thomas Robinson. He's a lot more mobile and he's a lot better rebounder than Plumlee.
But there's something wrong. There's something wrong there. I don't know. He has not stuck it anywhere. I don't doubt his talent. He was a top 5 pick, but when the Kings give up on you, like
Kings, Rockets, Trailblazers.
Yeah, but the Kings at first, and the Kings are, the face of dysfunction. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, and I certainly don't. I haven't heard any negatives about like his attitude or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Sixers even cut him.
I think the Nets just signed him.
Yeah, no, the Nets did just sign him, but like the Sixers had him. They got rid of him.
He was a free agent, and then he just signed with us.
But why didn't the Sixers? Like the Sixers are stockpiling talent. Why wouldn't they keep him?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
But something's up.
Yeah, I kind of have hope for him, but that's something else.
Yeah.
So, moving on to team excitement scale, how exciting do you think?
I have him at a 4 or 3, just because Johnson, when the nights that he turns back the clock and really goes off, they're always still fun, and he's not having as many nights as that recently, but there's still those couple of nights where he's going to stand out. And Lopez, even though he's not pretty at basketball, he's still pretty efficient. It's kind of fun to watch a center work his way down and shoot that mid-range area.
Right.
He's really good at the low post. So without much winning though, I can't really put them any higher than like a 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
It just they don't intrigue me much. I'm not going to be looking out for like, oh boy, I hope the Nets do something tonight.
Exactly.
How about you?
So I had them at a 2.0.
Ooh, harsh.
Yeah, this is kind of harsh. I watched a lot of Mets games last year, of course, living in New York. I probably watched maybe 60 to 70% of their games, and they were pretty boring. They were kind of sad to watch because you could see like the car wreck that Jared Shack would put on the floor whenever he checked in, and now he's the starter. So that only makes the team a lot more dysfunctional. I like Joe Johnson, and I really like watching with Lopez. His game is so awkward. Just seeing him like throw up righty hooks without looking at the basket and make it in is pretty exciting. But without really any exciting young players or without any exciting veterans, I don't think the Nets will be exciting at all. They might be one of the most boring teams in the NBA, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. And I mean, we're coming from two opposite biases here. You were even harsher than me, and you've been a Nets fan forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate him, and I still gave him a little bit. But
Uh-huh.
I completely agree about Lopez's game. Seeing him make those shots, it kind of gives me hope that, one day I'll be able to make them regularly, too.
Yeah. Just hoping I can apply the Brook Lopez shot approach to my love life. So...
Here's
How do you
hoping.
think this team will do?
Oh, if they top 35 wins, I'd be surprised. Honestly,
No playoffs, for sure.
no playoffs for sure. And like, actually, saying 35 games is kind of giving them a lot. I'm banking on a lot of good things for them because they only won 38 last year and they made it in the 8th seed. But I think the teams made a lot of teams in the East made necessary adjustments and got better. And I think the Nets kind of sunk back towards the 76ers level. They're not nearly as bad as the 76ers, but I can't think of too many teams that are going to be worse off than them. Just thinking of like predicting what the season's going to hold.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be twists and turns, but I think from the starting point, they're kind of one of the lowest teams in that Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
So I give them, actually, you know what, I'm lowering it. I'm going to say 29 wins.
Yeah, I have them at 30 to 35 wins. So I'm a bit more optimistic about you with this team. But still, a lot of Nets brass are calling this team a successful offseason. But I don't see them being successful. I don't see them winning this year at all.
That's just trying to save face, I think, in front of the
exactly.
media.
But they made some really good moves this offseason to sign some fringe guys like Ellington, Bargnani, and Shane Larkin. But aside from that, like, there's nothing really to say about this movie.
I don't know. I say look for him to tank. Look for them to tank this year, especially because they don't want to give up that pick.
Tank for the Celtics?
No. They want to tank to get the pick back. Oh, you're right. It's unprotected the other way. I'm sorry. They made that weird deal.
Yeah, Billy King goes in raw.
Yeah, that was great. That's great in hindsight. Well, like
facts about the Brooklyn Nets. So I don't know if you saw this. The owner of the Nets, Mikhail Prokhorov, showed up to their training camp, and he was just doing these really weird drills.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
Balance on the basketball and then dribble it with one hand while balancing your feet on one ball and your other hand on the other.
Yeah,
that was pretty interesting. And Brook Lopez says he wants to play Chewbacca in the next Star Wars movie.
Yeah, well, hey, that's great for dreams. Let's see what happens.
It's a good career plan.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
I guess, yeah. So maybe I can go to some Nets games for $10 this year. But other than that, that's it.
All right. Well, here's hoping.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for listening to Second Round Steals, our NBA podcast. Please be sure to check out the rest of our 2015-2016 NBA team previews, and stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of different podcasts, probably weekly, and we'll be there every step of the way covering all the drama, great games, great plays, and highlights of the NBA season. So please be sure to check us out on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube for your podcast needs. And stay tuned for more content outside of podcasts, like videos and articles, and even probably live discussions. Thanks for listening.